Hey everybody, it's Jackie here. So this is the third video in this video series called Mindscape Fun. And what I've been doing is introducing you to this really beautiful online class that I'm super proud to be helping to bring together in early September. So I love it so much, and I have been using my Mindscape workshop on a daily basis since 2007. So a long time. And I can speak from an honest perspective when I say that I actually couldn't imagine my life without it. I've used it extensively. I've learned from it. I've grown from it. I will absolutely continue to use it. And I want to give you some insight into what that perhaps looks like so you can figure out, well, perhaps what are some of the ways that I could use it in my life, because these are just a fraction of some of the ways. You're going to be unlimited by what you can do with these teachings, okay? And I've heard of other people using their Mindscape workshops in ways that I've never even thought to do that. So it's going to be great also afterwards, because you get to plug into the wider support matrix that's globally and hear of how other ways that people use their Mindscape workshops. So today I'm going to be sharing with you what my Mindscape workshop looks like and to me, and what my experience of it is. Andy Spencer is going to be teaching this particular Mindscape workshop online. I am a massive fan of Andy's. I'm so glad that I'm able to bring this together for him. We're doing it September 4th, 5th and 6th. There is currently a super discounted bonus price to the next, I think it's 8 people, might be 7, 6, depending on how many we've got left now, that are able to get that price. So check that out. The details will be in the comments somewhere, wherever you're watching this. And the other thing is that if you're a monitor and have done this class before, and not just with Andy, but it can be with any other Mindscape instructor around the world, then you will qualify for one of 2 different monitor rates. If you are a member of the International Body Talk Association, you get a very significant discount, very, very significant discount. So check that out in the ticketing page. And if you are not an IBA member and you're a monitor, you still get a substantial discount. So check that out as well. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to pop myself into my Mindscape workshop. Now, bear in mind, there is a whole process you've got to go through to learn how to not only build your own Mindscape workshop, but to how to get in there. And one of the things that I wanted to learn was how to get in there very, very quickly, so that no matter what situation I was in, what environment I was facing, that I could pop myself into my Mindscape workshop if I needed to. And the reason for that being is that I can resource so many different tools and techniques in there that I might need in this moment that I'm in. So the ability to be able to get in there quite quickly was very, very important to me. So I practiced like crazy after class until I could master it. My aim, my goal was to be able to drive a car and to be able to get myself into my Mindscape workshop successfully. So I'm not only driving a car in this reality, but then I was able to be in my Mindscape workshop and have a soft focus on that while I was in there as well. And that really stood me in good stead, because it means that I can be here having a conversation with you, and then I can pop myself in my Mindscape workshop if I need. Okay, so this is the third video in this series, if I didn't mention it before. Video 1 actually talks all about Mindscape, so it's very, very important that you watch that if you haven't already and you're wondering what on earth is Mindscape. It sounds very interesting. The second video talked about where would you travel. So I introduce you to something that you're going to get access to inside your Mindscape workshop, and one of the things that you're going to be able to do, which is travel, and it's awesome. Okay, so this time I'm going to talk about the actual Mindscape workshop. Now, prior to getting into your Mindscape workshop, there is a whole other place that lots of people really love. Everyone that I know that does Mindscape absolutely loves their Mindscape workshops. But there's a very special process that you need to go through and do before you get into your Mindscape workshop, all in your mind and your imagination. And everyone loves those spaces too. Quite often people will go into those spaces just for the purpose of relaxation. Yeah, just to hang out in there because it's a beautiful, beautiful place. So I'm actually not going to talk about any of that because I really want you to find out what that is for the very first time in class and go through that whole process, not knowing what it is that you're going to be doing, because it's really special. Okay. So the first thing I need to tell you is that everyone's Mindscape workshop is completely different. Absolutely completely different. I know people who their Mindscape workshop is actually, it has no structure. So it has no walls, no ceilings. It's almost like it's just a space. And when they go into that, they feel deeply at peace. They feel very light, vibrant. They feel very expansive. They feel grounded, they feel powerful, they love it. And they've got access to all the tools and the resources just in that space. I know people who have found that their Mindscape workshop ended up being in a big yurt, like a big yurt. But sometimes people's yurts was then like a spaceship, they realised. You know, it was a yurt / spaceship. So that would have been pretty cool. Everyone's is different. And for me personally, when I first built my Mindscape workshop, and you do it in class, what I ended up with was something that I resonated with 100%. Loved it 100%, and I just couldn't wait to keep going back in there and feeling what it's like to be in there, because it is such an amazing feeling. And so I've always been really happy, really content with my space, and it's stayed the same. What people will find sometimes is that their space no longer works for them, or they don't really like it so much, or it's not working the way that they want it to, or something like that. And they might get a brand new Mindscape, and there's a process for that. So some people might have, you know, many different versions of Mindscape workshops over the years. And then might be somebody who, like me, who has the same one since 2007. And I just absolutely love it. Okay. And I think one of the fun things is that when you're going through the class, you're so in sync and loving your workshop, is that you can't wait to share it with somebody else. And somebody will always say to you, what does your Mindscape workshop look like? So then you have a nice conversation about that. Okay then, so let me go ahead. I'm going to pop myself into Mindscape, and I'm going to give you a really brief virtual tour. You're going to have to use your imagination for this, okay? Rightio, so when I find myself in Mindscape, it is a massive, great big space. When I look down, I actually have like a stone, a cobblestone underneath my feet. Really old cobblestone. And when I know what's behind me. So what behind me is a wall, and that wall is stone. There's a lot of stone in mine, stone and glass, so I can see it everywhere. And to my left is almost like when I go over to my left, there's a seating area and a big fire. So there's a couple really comfy seats. There's a fire to give warmth and bring warmth into the area. But what's interesting over there is I have a chest, one of the old chests. And that chest will normally be somewhere where I'm drawn to go and do specific work with that when I have financial and money goals that I'm wanting to focus on and achieve. Yeah. Some of the things I'm not going to go through you with because they need to be specifically introduced to you during class. They are very, very specific tools, so I'm not going to go through everything, but I just want to give you a decent idea. Over on my left here, there's actually, oh, actually, I forgot to tell you, there's all the creature comforts. You can make it as detailed as you want to. And sometimes over time, using your Mindscape workshop, you'll realize that there's extra parts that have built themselves into your Mindscape workshop. Yeah. And you go, oh, that's new. I didn't even see that there last time. Okay. And I love a lot of what it is that I'm telling you about, and what you'll experience with your own Mindscape workshop is a reflection of what's going on inside your mind and your imagination, and also your intuition, the way that your intuition works. So there is, over towards the left on this back wall, a little bit of a bathroom. So you just go in, there's a toilet and a hand wash basin, and believe it or not, I've invited people in there and they've actually used that area extensively in the past. If I go over onto my right, there's actually a wall, probably about 4.5, 5 meters over onto the right, and it has a little kitchenette, goes right up against the wall. And originally that really wasn't there when I first did Mindscape. It actually developed itself over a couple of months. And one of the people that I invited in my Mindscape workshop was my Nana Geared, who had passed away only a couple years prior to that. And what she would like to do when she came in is that she would ask for a cup of tea. And I was like, gosh, I need a kitchenette to make cups of tea and dish out Tim Tam biscuits and stuff like that, and to be able to sit and have conversations with this lady. So I popped a little kitchenette in, and that's where, we do that now, which is really nice. There's also a staircase. And this staircase is pretty cool because it goes up to a second level, and you can see the second level. There's no roof or anything that separates the second level, so you can see it from the ground floor where we're standing. But when you turn and you look up all around the wall, it's all bookcases, just hundreds and thousands of books. And those books are really, really important because it's where I go to get my answers, get my information, get my resources, learn about things from those books. And you can find anything there in that library. That is plugging into, universal consciousness and finding the information that you need. So that's really, really cool. I have an outdoor space where it's really, really grassy and it's kind of a gentle sloping hill. I very often go out there and just lay. It is the softest grass that you could possibly imagine. I have from this really big open area that we're in now, I kind of an office area, have a healing room area, and I even have a bedroom. And that bedroom is super important because there has been, doesn't happen very often, but from time to time, I might go through periods where I struggle to get to sleep, or I have sleeplessness, and that'll usually be because I'm shifting through something pretty big or there's some significant stress going on, because normally I don't have issues with sleep. So if that ever happens, I go into my Mindscape workshop and I go put myself in my bedroom, in my bed, which is a massive, great big bed, and it has just the smoothest, softest sheets that kind of feel like you're getting a big hug when you go into it. And the acoustics in the room are just incredible, like I've never felt before. And my ability then to be able to go to sleep is quite incredible. So one of the things that I know from experience is that people who have had issues with sleep, with perhaps waking up during the night, if they've had issues with anxiousness, anything like that, they've found Mindscape to be incredibly beneficial from that alone, just that alone. inside my bedroom, because it's a really kind of big but longer bedroom, and down towards the front and the side it's actually like a massive great big glass panel that has lots of living and growing greens, ferns, plants on it. So it gives us this really earthy kind of feel. The ceiling is lower in this, so you know it makes the acoustics quite beautiful, and it has carpet all through it. The other thing is that from this really big open space that we first found ourselves in, is we have a massive, great big, I suppose you would call it a corridor, but it kind of goes down similar to what a tunnel would, not enclosed like a tunnel, but it just goes down like this, straight from where we are. It's all got the cobblestone on the bottom, and what I have is indoor stables on the left hand side, and there's about 5-6 stables, but there's always 3 horses, and they usually take up those first 3 stables. And it's really interesting, you'll find yourself that there's specific introductions that you'll do with animals and with other sentient beings, and they carry a lot of information, a lot of wisdom about you and what you need right now, or perhaps who you are, how you express yourself, those kinds of things. So in my Mindscape workshop, I've always had horses in there, always, yeah. So all along the front left-hand side of my space, it kind of feels very much like a castle to me. That's what it feels like. It's very stone, very earthy, very, very solid, not going anywhere. And out towards the right-hand side of this structure, out in the land, as I said, it kind of rolls away on a bit of a hill very gently, but it's all grass. And way out in the distance, you can see a really thick tree line out there. And every now and then when I'm in Mindscape, whether I'm just playing around and spending some free time in there, or I might go in there to specifically do something, when I go out into that grassed area, quite often I'll see things or people poking their heads in through that grassed area, and that's always really, really interesting to me, because it gives me insight into lots of other things that I didn't know about. And that might be for a video for another day. But as far as like where my castle sits, on the left hand side, when I'm inside my internal structure and I've just come in, there is just ceiling to floor glass, pure beautiful glass. And when you look out that glass, you see that you're actually on top of a mountain, on a cliff, and it just falls away into this beautiful valley. So that is a brief introduction to your Mindscape. And the other thing that I want to just let you know about is, I know that there are some other similar trainings. I've done a few of the other ones, whether it be linking awareness, whether it be the silver training, whether it be a whole host of different ones. And what I would like you to know is that Mindscape is very, very different to all of the other ones. I feel it's quite rounded and comprehensive, gives you very good knowledge of what you're doing, why you're doing it, and aftercare support is very, very important. And the other thing is that I was able to link my Mindscape workshop with all the other spaces that I had built and visited by doing other trainings that were kind of similar. So there is no rigidity around that. There's no rules saying that you can't. I actually do have them linked up, so when and if I ever need to, I actually can go in and visit those places or not. You'll be able to go in and visit those places if you need to. But I don't find that I do. I find that I have everything that I need, and I can access anything at all by using my Mindscape workshop. The only time I will go in and access any of the others is if I am doing a body talk session with somebody, and the priority is that I specifically have to go in there and actually do that, then I will do that. Otherwise, I just don't have the need. So you'll know if you've done any of those other trainings, then you'll know what I'm talking about. You might think to yourself, well, I've already done this training. How will that affect that? Or will I be able to use both of them? Yes, you can use both of them. You're actually just going to connect them. It's easy as that. Yeah, so I'm so looking forward to hearing what your Mindscape workshop actually looks like, and you being able to describe it to me and telling me how you feel in there, and then watching that, how that grows and develops for you over the coming months afterwards. Now, somebody asked me a question. You actually get a really beautiful manual, and I think I might show you next time, because I have my original one that I was given, and I have the most updated one version, I think. So I'll check that out in my big manual stack, and I'll give you a really quick glimpse into that. But you will get sent a manual so that you have all the access to that. And I personally love the manual. Gives you all the information that you're possibly going to need about Mindscape in there. Yeah, but I also like that you can highlight, that you can jot down notes, that you can circle things that are important to you, and you can come back to it whenever you like. Yeah. Okay, beautiful. Well, that's good enough for today. That's my third episode in this series. So let's see what I share with you next time that I come in. Okay. Please ask any questions that you have about this course. Remember, positions are very limited to make the user experience, which is you, the best that it possibly can be in this class. So get in to register and claim your space for that. And the links to be able to enroll and pay will be somewhere here on this page. Okay. Don't forget to come find me on social media if you've got any questions. Okay. Talk to you soon. Bye.